Welcome to the deep dive. We're here again to unpack some surprising insights, this time hidden in, well, the everyday coffee shop.
That's right. We're looking at a source called English Journey Coffee Shop Chronicles.
And our mission today is really to go beyond just the smell of coffee beans.
Yeah, we want to extract some real nuggets. We're talking transferable skills, human connection,
Yeah.
and some pretty practical communication lessons, too.
Stuff that goes way beyond just ordering a latte.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You might actually be surprised what you can learn from your local coffee spot.
Okay, so let's dive in. The source talks about someone working in a small university cafe during their studies.
Right.
And their job involved, well, the usual stuff, taking orders, making coffee, cleaning up, but also baking simple things, chocolate chip cookies, muffins, that sort of thing. Sounds like a pretty standard student job on the face of it. But
Yeah.
what's really going on there? I mean, in terms of building actual skills.
Well, that's what's fascinating, isn't it? Those seemingly simple tasks. They're actually a kind of intense training ground.
How so?
Think about it. Core customer service, right? But under pressure. Then there's time management, juggling orders, brewing, cleaning, maybe that baking too.
Yeah, keeping all those plates spinning.
Precisely. And even basic food handling. These are competencies that, honestly, you can take into almost any professional field.
And hey, let's not forget the free coffee perk.
Always a plus.
But seriously, beyond the tasks, the source mentioned a favorite part was meeting all kinds of people. You know, the daily regulars, travelers just passing through.
Yes. And this, I think, is where we get into something deeper. It's about understanding human behavior, really. Building rapport.
So not just taking orders, but actually connecting.
Exactly. Engaging with such a diverse mix of people, it forces you to develop empathy, adaptability. You learn to read people quickly. Crucial skills, whether you're, I don't know, managing a team or just navigating life.
That makes sense. You really do see humanity in a coffee shop queue.
You really do.
Okay, here's where it gets, well, pretty funny, actually. There's this moment described accidentally giving someone decaf instead of their usual regular coffee.
Oh, dear. We've all feared that, haven't we?
Right. And the customer apparently didn't notice until they were halfway through an important meeting.
Oh, no. So awkward confrontation.
Yeah.
Complaint.
Get this, no. He was, and I quote, very polite about it. And the amazing part, he actually became an even more loyal regular after that whole thing.
Wow. Okay, so what's the lesson there? Besides double-checking the coffee pot.
Haha. Yeah, good point.
I mean, it raises a really interesting question, doesn't it? How
Yeah.
we handle mistakes, how you can build positive relationships even when you mess up.
So it's about the recovery.
I think so. It really underscores the power of, well, maybe just simple kindness and handling it professionally, turning a potential negative into, like, increased loyalty.
Yeah.
That's pretty powerful. Maybe perfection isn't always the goal.
That's a great point. Sometimes owning a mistake builds more trust.
Exactly. That shared moment of, imperfection and understanding.
Okay, and speaking of interactions, the source also touched on something many of us can relate to: the nerves of ordering in English while traveling. Specifically, a trip to London.
Yes, the language barrier anxiety, even for something seemingly simple like coffee.
So what's the takeaway there?
Well, the advice mentioned is pretty universal, actually. For anyone learning, we're just practicing a language.
Which is?
Basically, don't panic. Baristas are usually patient. People in service roles often are. The key thing is not to be afraid to speak slowly or to ask them to repeat something if you don't understand.
Just push through the awkwardness.
Pretty much. It's a great lesson in communication resilience, I suppose. Being okay with not being perfect, just focusing on getting your point across. It's less about flawless grammar, more about just connecting.
So it seems from just this one coffee shop experience, we've pulled out quite a bit.
Yeah, quite a lot. Essential transferable skills, the real value of human connection, even in brief moments.
And some solid practical tips for just communicating confidently, even when you're nervous or making a mistake.
Absolutely. It really started with just taking orders
Right.
and ended up covering some pretty deep ground.
It really makes you think, doesn't it?
Hmm.
Well, it leads to a question for you, listening. What other everyday interactions, maybe first jobs or just daily routines, what other ordinary things might actually be these incredibly rich training grounds for life skills, for professional skills, things we just tend to overlook?
That's a great question. Something definitely worth pondering, perhaps over your next cup of coffee.